Hey, you're out in the garage with TheEZGZ, and we're at the end of 2018. Where did the time fly? I know for me it was, I think I only spent like 6 months at home. I was in Yuma, Arizona for the first couple of months during the year of 2018. Went to the Buses on the Bridge for the first time in Lake Havasu. That was really fun. Spent a lot of time out at the sand dunes, spent some time looking around down that part of the country. Kind of missed out on the snow last year because I was down there in nice weather, and it was really fun. Good to experience all that. Then I came home and I spent a lot of time with Mary and Marley and over at the lake house doing things there with them. And then I still managed to find time to do a lot of things on my cars and changing some seats, getting the ergonomics better, went on some rides with my friends, went to a lot of shows, and here most recently I've been making some changes in the shop. It's still under construction here, got to clean up some of this wiring, but I'm switching from the fluorescent lighting to the LED lighting. This was a special price that I saw at Sam's Club, and the complete and fixture as you see it with the switch in the end, pre-wired with an extension cord just to plug in, was $25. So I picked up a few of those just to have in the shop because I had a big fluorescent light fixture back here. I like this white light, and it's cheaper to operate and probably gonna last a lot longer. So I got those on different switches. I've been doing that. I've been playing with seats here. I got those pick and pull seats for Valerie, and I decided that I might want to do that in the Baja here and keep the suspension seats for special use. Those didn't cost me anything directly. It wasn't a separate thing I bought. I may even put them back in the desert race car. I doubt it. But I know it's hard for my passengers to get in here and fumble with the seat belt, and they sit a little bit higher. So I got these other seats out of a Ford Probe, I think it was, and I'm under the process of fitting those. I got these different bases as a platform rather than use the stock ones like I did in Valerie. The ones that are in the car for these suspension seats were 6 inches tall, and there's a big gap here. I'd like to split that difference and bring it down a couple inches, and that's what these are going to allow me to do. I don't know if this is a good way to show you, but these will sit down a lot lower. Actually, it'll sit down about half the difference. So the bottom of the seat's going to be like right level with the carpet on those other ones. And the nice thing about it, the bolt pattern is the same, so I'll be able to, it'll be interchangeable. It'll take me a half hour to completely swap the seats out. And I love, they didn't have transformers when I was a kid growing up, and I have seen those things. I think it was after my kids were already out of that stage, but I've seen those things where the Transformers, movies and stuff, and they change all their shapes and stuff. To me, that concept of having the versatility, I love versatility. That's why I have the Baja, because as a car, it gives me more versatility for a Volkswagen, places to go and places that I can drive in it. So that's some of the stuff that I've been doing. I've been reading all the comments you guys leaving on my channel and trying to oh, you know that I just noticed I even got some nuts and bolts that came with this baby. Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet. Yeah, it's amazing how much of this just adds up when you're building a project. Nuts, bolts, washers, man, it's just outrageous that what they charge us for all of this stuff when you go to the hardware store and have to buy it. I really like products that come complete. Let's see, some of those comments. Somebody just recently asked me an interesting question. They said, if a person was gonna build a 2276 compared to a 1600, how much space how much more space does it take in the engine compartment? And basically, I'd want to say none. It's bigger bore, and you're going from a 69 stroke to an 82 stroke, and that's in millimeters. A millimeter is 40 thousandths. Here's where the problem comes in. When you increase the diameter of the bore, you raise the compression naturally. There's more space, and if you lengthen the stroke of the crankshaft, you have to put spacers under the cylinders. That creates all kinds of interesting problems and that's why it's race engines. If you got a show car or just a hobby car and you want to put some monster horsepower and be chirping the tires and doing silly stuff with it, or racing it on weekends, you can do that, and you're not going to be driving it all the time. When you try to put a 2276 in a stock engine compartment, you do have problems with the seals in the compartment, and it's really important for a daily driver to keep all the seals that the factory put in there. Everything needs to be sealed up, and it's like, I think an engine like this, it runs cooler because it's hanging out the back of the car, but you get a lot of turbulence on dirt roads, and you get a lot of dust that comes back in here, and it's always coating stuff with dust. Your rain and snow, wherever you leave it parked, if it's outside, you're constantly bombarding the top part of your engine and engine compartment with that. And seals really don't make a difference, and this gives you some sort of a free cooling, I would say. Look, you've got this muffler and exhaust. Instead of being on the bottom, it curls up and around, but you're taking a lot of your air. When you're moving, it's coming in the top, it's coming in from the sides, it's getting cool air, or whatever the ambient temperature is where you're at. So, size-wise, it's going to be a tight squeeze, depending on whether you want it to be a daily driver. If it's just something that you're going to drive a quarter of a mile at a time, then it really doesn't make any difference, and you can stuff it in there, leave the seals out, and a lot of people do that. But, it's not as big a problem. All these carburetor setups that they have, they're made in such a way to give you the clearance, and it allows you to build those types of engines. They just don't make real good daily drivers. My favorite all-time engine, and I have had them all, and I currently have most of them. I've got a 1600 over there. I've got a 1776 in Valerie. I've got the 1800 there. I've got a 2-liter in here. I've got the 2276 in the desert car, and you can tell just because of the way I've got those engines laid out. Think about it. The 1776 is in a stock-bodied sedan with stock carburetor and stock compression. It's lower compression. There's shims under the cylinders, and that's the way I built it. And it fits, and it's less maintenance, and it less trouble. This car, I have bigger tires on it. I wanted a little bit more power. I have the 2-liter and the 1800. I put the 1800, went to Portland and back, put the 2-liter in it, went to Michigan and back to Colorado, and currently this one lives in this car. I have a 2110. The 2110, I forgot about my tub buggy. Out of sight, out of mind. I got it outside in the trailer, and it needs to be covered all the time because there's no natural covering. There's no windows and doors or roof on the darn thing. And when you try to add those, it really increases the difficulty of getting in and out of a car. Those little fiberglass Manx style buggies are a pain in the butt for a daily driver because they're always exposed to the weather. You don't have any temperature control other than what the clothes that you're wearing. Depends on what you want to do with it. It just depends. That is why I have so many of these darn things. Because no one of these Volkswagens can do everything that I want. So I chose to have a Volkswagen for everything that I like. Isn't that crazy? But that's kind of the way it works. And that's what I've been up to. I hope your 2018 went well. If not, maybe 2019 will be a better year for you. We've got a lot of things going on. I'm going to do some things for you as soon as we get out of this Arctic temperatures. We're going to change the exhaust, the muffler, the carburation. We're going to do some inexpensive modifications to the 1776 for your sake. I'm happy with it just the way it is, with the stock setup with an oil bath air cleaner. But I'm going to put some stuff on there. I have everything. It's not really going to cost me much other than some gaskets and some time. I've got some Cadron carburetors up there that came on this car. We're going to put them on that 1776. I have countless numbers of exhaust systems, and currently Valerie has the stock exhaust. That's right, a 1776 with a stock cam, a stock carburetor, and a stock muffler. And the reason for that is it works. It gives me heat. It gives me good sound transportation, doors that lock. I can drive over speed bumps and not worry about them. I can go in and out of steep driveways and not worry about dragging on things. There's a lot to be said for it. I can get in it and I can drive it anywhere. And we're going to do some trips, more trips this year, I hope. And we're going to do some more engine work. I have tranny work to do. I don't know why I'm fiddling around with these seats, because car has seats in it, but it was just something that came up. And this is maybe something that happens to you too. Keep in mind that one of the financial reasons that keeps me from doing a lot of the things that you'd like me to do is that I have 4 cars. And trying to maintain 4 cars, keep them insured, keep them licensed, keep them running. That means 4 batteries. That means, changing oil a lot. I do a lot of oil changes and filter changes, and we're constantly doing things here. And this is why I have this channel and make these videos, because I'm one of the few people that actually lives in the time of these cars. Yeah, I'm a throwback. I'm living in these Volkswagens. I have a Lightning that gets no mileage on it. I have a 4-wheel drive Toyota truck that I use when it snows out and the weather's really bad and they start salting up the roads. That's my sacrificial vehicle, and it just the way it is. But my favorite vehicles are the Volkswagens, and when you have a 50-year-old car, you have to repair things that need it. You have to go with things if you want the reliability, but it doesn't have to break the bank. For a lot of you folks, that just get one car, I really caution people to avoid taking their cars completely apart. Oh yeah, you're watching in the magazines and stuff. Somebody buys one of these old Volkswagens. The first thing they want to do is take care of the rust, do a body off restoration, take care of that rust and do it right. And it's just crazy. I've talked to people, and people that paint cars, for example, and they'll say, yeah, I spent all this time painting the car, now I got to pull the engine out and do this transmission, doing all these other mechanical things, and the paint gets scratched up or something happens. There's little bumps and accidents in the process of doing all this stuff. So to me, it's more rewarding for me to keep my car running. I know they're rusty. There's a lot of these Volkswagens out there. They're not as cheap as they used to be. But I think, for my personal preference, is to get the car running. Get the things fixed. If your body continues to deteriorate, or you find out you have a bad body, then you can find a replacement car for it that your front end, transmission, and engine, which are some of the more bigger expenses, then you can transfer that stuff to the new car. You know, see what I'm saying here? But it keeps my motivation going when I can keep the car driving, when you can go places and roll it around, and especially nowadays with these rat rods and different cars, it's not an embarrassment to be out there in a rusty car. Heck, when I was a kid in the 60s growing up, guys, I mean, if you were a hot rodder, if you were a dyed-in-the-wool hot rodder, you would have something like a, and this was in the mid to late 60s, you would have yourself like a 55 Chevy, 57 Chevy, any of those years in Chevrolet, Chryslers with the big wings on the back. Guys would lift them up in the back, put chrome wheels on them. They'd shoot the whole body in that gray primer, hot rod primer. That's what they called them. And I mean, you had a primer car, and you had nice wheels and tires, and a good running engine and transmission. And those were the important factors. The body was the last thing. The body was the very last thing. And you know what? No matter, people look at your car, and this is just my personal opinion. When they see a car that's primered, they know that there's probably paint to come, and they visualize in their mind, oh yeah, that car is really going to look good in their favorite color, whatever their favorite color is. They're kind of seeing your car as their favorite color. As soon as you go through the trouble of painting your car, all that expense and time and effort into painting your car, sure as hell, somebody's going to say, really like your car, but I hate that color. You know, I wish you would have painted it this color or that color. You know, that car just doesn't look right in that color. Why did you choose that? Why would you two-tone your car? Why would you, you know, then people start getting critical about it. They start finding more faults with it. They look at my hunk of junks. Well, first of all, they don't look at my hunk of junks, and it's only the people that I ride around with and see me driving back and forth to yoga class and a grocery store. They're the ones that say, yeah, I see that thing around town all the time, and that's a pretty cool car, and you know, why don't you paint it? I do get that a lot. People will say that. Why don't you paint it? And it's like, I'll eventually get around to it, but haven't decided what color. That usually shuts them up, you know. I haven't really decided on the color yet, and I got some other things I need to do first, you know. And it's like, I had nice cars. I had my Carmen Ghia with flames on it and all that shit. And I agonized over every little chip and bump and scratch, and most of them I did myself. And it just, you know, it does hurt, you know, it does hurt. So if I keep them like this, you know, daily rides, it's generic, like the generic groceries, you know, suitable for everyday use, suitable for everyday consumption. So at any rate, I just wanted to pop in there and wish everybody a happy coming year, and be safe out there. And I'm going to keep on posting videos and keep doing what I'm doing. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subbing. TheEZGZ out. Head out and have some fun. But wait! There's more!
I need a burrito. That's what I need.